All right, we are back here live at the Orion Ascent conference in sunny San Diego. I'm Chuck Vela, and on behalf of goRIA and Investment News, welcome to the live stream today. And we're going to be broadcasting here live all day with a lot of great content from all different types of folks. And with us right now, we have Louis Giannini, who is the Director of Product Development at Orion. Louis, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Chuck. It's great to be here in sunny San Diego.
It really is. We're both coming from Connecticut.
Yes.
I think the only other Connecticut people that we've seen at least today, but I'm sure there's a bunch more. So we're enjoying some of this sunshine and reprieve from maybe not as warm, sunny climates. Okay, but that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about, as you all know, if you've been watching goRIA, and we are talking about giving advisors advice on how to leave the wirehouse and find the promised land, which is independence, often found in the RIA space. And one of the main concerns that these advisors have is, how do I keep myself compliant? Right? They've been at a wirehouse for years. The wirehouse is doing everything from ordering their business cards, setting up their phones, but more importantly, keeping them compliant. How can advisors feel comfortable that they can stay compliant on their own?
Great question, Chuck. And just to back up, as you mentioned, my name is Louis Giannini, Senior Director of Product Management at Orion. Just a little bit of background. Prior to joining Orion, I was part of the leadership team at Basis Code Compliance, which of course was acquired by Orion late in 2021. And prior to that, I had headed up the operations of a New York hedge fund. And prior to that, I began my career on the 47th floor of the MetLife building in Manhattan, where I focused on fixed income and derivatives for institutional clients at BNP Paribas Investment Management. So now that the formalities are out of the way, let's jump into it.
Yeah.
So excellent question. I think if you look at where the puck is going, we're headed towards an era of self-checkout compliance, largely driven by increases in automation and outsourcing via new and emerging technologies as well as consultants. And the reason is clear. We just conducted an annual wealth tech survey at Orion, and the trend was clear. It was that the trend for outsourcing is continuing to maintain a strong outlook, and for very good reason, right? Firms are being asked to do more with less. And what we're seeing is in a rapidly evolving regulatory landscape, it's not just the sheer magnitude and the rate at which regulations are being issued, but it's also the breadth and depth of the complexities of those regulations. So the takeaway here is firms need to embrace the pace, right? They need to embrace the pace to stay compliant. And I think one of the likely quantums of change is going to be the unprecedented wealth transfer from millennials, roughly $90 trillion before 2044, slated to make them the richest generation in history. Now that's going to open up a myriad of opportunities, but also challenges for those firms, specifically compliance challenges, right? And so as we look at the landscape, the question is, and we've seen this movie before, the firms that are not positioned well and don't have a robust infrastructure are unfortunately going to go by the wayside and also be at higher likelihood of being fined, but also suffering reputational risk. And so the firms that are well positioned, on the other hand, are going to be operating from a position of strength, but also being able to capitalize on those opportunities. And most importantly, close the trust gap with their clients and then deliver the best possible outcomes going forward.
Excuse me, you mentioned the trust gap, and I was peeking over at that video replay of the main stage. And was it Natalie that was talking about this? And we are less trusted than car salesmen. Did I get that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That's probably something we should probably fix.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's drill down into the weeds a little bit more. So the audience are made up mainly of advisors currently at a broker-dealer, wirehouse, independent broker-dealer, what have you. And they're hearing a lot about the RIA space, and for good reason. They want to do it, but they're afraid of how difficult it is to stay in compliance. What are some tools available for them to help them accomplish that goal?
Excellent question. So there's an array of tools, right? When looking at tools, the important thing is to focus on tools that don't just check the box. So that's going to eliminate a lot of noise. You want to focus on tools that allow you to demonstrate consistent, repeatable, and scalable processes with corresponding documentation. Orion Compliance, for example, formerly known as Basis Code, has been top ranked in multiple industry reports for many years for good reason, right? We have a simple ethos. Be passionate about problem solving. That's our commitment to our clients. It's very simple. Firms that are successful at solving problems are successful firms. we hear and understand how important the missions are of our clients, whether it be delivering better outcomes for clients, whether it be mitigating conflicts of interest. Um, by allowing them to streamline and strengthen their compliance program through our technology, we help fuel that mission.
That sounds good. Let's get a little granular. What exactly, and I've heard of Basis Code, and I was pretty excited when they became part of the Orion family. We are clients of Orion, actually. What does that do? So these are advisors that they know nothing about compliance other than when the phone rings and they see the compliance, caller ID, they're like, oh no. That's their extent of compliance knowledge. What exactly does the technology do to help them with the compliance? Give us just maybe one concrete example.
Excellent question. So in a nutshell, Orion Compliance is simply a complete end-to-end workflow solution for firm employee and client oversight. Think attestations like code of ethics, compliance manual, AML, KYC quizzes. Think testing of compliance controls like best execution, filings, email monitoring. Think personal security surveillance for personal trading, attestations, de minimis rules, restricted list, and so on. And also, more importantly, client supervision of client activity, whether it's clients, accounts, trades, and holdings.
That's exactly right. So, and I'll just speak to the audience for a moment here. So I broke away myself 5 years ago. In a lot of ways, this podcast and these live streams, it's almost like a reality show on how to build an RIA, because I literally just did that about 5 years ago. And like a lot of you listening right now, you're probably concerned about compliance. That's probably the biggest thing to worry about. You know how to build your business. You know how to relate to your clients. You know how to manage money. You've never done compliance. So there are a lot of resources out there. And that's sort of the commonality for everything in the RIA space. Whatever you need to do that was being done for you by the wirehouse, the broker-dealer, there are partners out there that you can partner with. Orion obviously is an example, but there's a lot of others. But also, too, there's compliance consultants.
Right.
Let's talk about that for just a moment. We'll probably wrap up on that. So how does a compliance consultant perhaps interact with your technology to help deliver an end-to-end solution that really is fully outsourced?
Excellent question. So what we offer to maximize the value of our clients' experience, as well as the best expertise across the landscape, is we offer a consultant marketplace that has a range of different consultants that have a proven track record of maximizing the compliance programs of their clients through the system. And I might be jumping ahead here, but one of the things that work in synergy with our consultants, of course, are all of the available modules within the system, right? So at a high level, Orion Compliance is really just a collection of modules. One of the most exciting announcements we have here at Ascent, and I'm proud to say it, is the release of our post-trade supervision feature. Not only is this arguably the most anticipated feature, but it's also the most powerful, and here's why. Post-trade supervision provides eye-in-the-sky post-trade compliance of client activity. Think of client accounts, trades, holdings. Think of being able to automatically track concentration limits, high cash, low trade volume, risk drift, inverse leveraged investments, and more. So on day one, a firm is able to come into the system. They can choose from a library of off-the-shelf rules and tailor them towards their policies. But they can also, and this is my favorite part, they can build their own custom rules from a broad range of market and dynamic data points, including but not limited to sector, asset type, security type, domicile, currency, and much more. This allows firms to build as many broad or specific rules as they need, and then most importantly, generate a complete end-to-end workflow for all responsible parties, right? So you're running your compliance program. You want it to scale. You want to outsource it. You want less human interaction. You want more efficiency. And so what the system does is it normalizes the data and it reconciles against their rules on a real-time basis and then flags accounts when there are alerts where all responsible parties are notified, whether it be a rep, a PM, compliance. And this also allows them the opportunity for comprehensive on-demand exportable reporting, because in compliance, as you know, everyone loves a good audit trail, and it's going to allow them to have that audit trail on a thumb drive. They can present it internally or externally.
That's right. So that's exciting to the extent compliance can be exciting, but it is, right. And I do want to say this. So I've been an advisor for 30 years. Compliance is viewed by me the way it is by a lot of advisors as a necessary evil, but it doesn't have to be. Well, let me tell you something, right? If you are leaving your firm, all this is being done. So someone has to do it. Right? You can't just go ahead and be an advisor without compliance. You need that compliance. And if you've been at a broker dealer, as I was for a quarter century, someone else is doing that for you. It is important to get it done. That's the bad news. The good news is, again, there are resources to help you accomplish that. So as someone who now runs a firm, I'm not just an advisor, but I run a firm, tools like this are exciting, right? Because it makes my life easier and it makes my firm more secure. Two things I'm very passionate about, right? So I think that's really good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would add, we're extremely proud about this capstone feature, not just because of the great client feedback we've already gotten here at Ascent, but more importantly, because it underscores our commitment to delivering top-ranked RegTech solutions, because we understand that it's not only paramount to our success, but that of our clients and their compliance program. We're incredibly excited about it, and we look forward to receiving more feedback.
Fantastic. We'll end on that note. Louis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Chuck. Great to see you.
It was great to see you. Okay, so again, on behalf of goRIA Fueled by Investment News, I'm Chuck Baylor. One quick note here, promo, I suppose. June 13th, we're going to have an entire half day. We're calling it the goRIA Masterclass. It's going to be a half day of sessions. We're going to do broad topics. We're going to do deep dives. I say this today, or right now at least, because one of those deep dives will be into compliance. So we're going to have compliance consultants, and we're going to talk about everything you need to know, kind of like what we talked about here, but in a much more deeper way with more time than we have for this 10-minute live stream. So stay tuned for that. And I'll be back in about another hour or so with some more content here on goRIA. Thanks for joining us. Thanks again, Louis.